CyberAI and the ostensible intergalactic cyber electronic portal landscape through the lens of hypervisions as if powered by real-world hypervisors remain indebted to the fascinating virtualization technology observing everything that it is capable of simulating in both open and regimented civilian and military metaverse environments through the powerful additive of augmentation. At the very outset, my mind's eye goes out to the cyber electronic space intelligence commanders and cyber law enforcers from the cyberspace first matrix, humanly represented by the NSA, the US Cyber Command, CESA, US DoD, CDAO, NATO, CCD, COE, and the facilitators of CyCons, United Nations organizations, and the UNIDERS, a cybersecurity think tank, the World Economic Forum, Center for Cybersecurity, the Interpol, Cyber Intelligence Department, the NCSE, Department of Homeland Security, FBI, Cyber Division, Intelligence and National Security Alliance, Information Systems Security Association, Government, Computer Emergency Response Teams, Defense Intelligence Agencies, Defense Cyber Agencies, Cyber Threat Intelligence Magnates from the information technology industry, and the transnational mega corporations, precisely because of the mind-bending adaptations they have to undergo to accommodate into the buttoned-down mainstream so as to not sound psychotropic. This is an ode for your brilliant fraternity, which may not sound or feel poetic, because you have not been hallucinating. You have evolved and progressed over time by the virtue of your fortitude. You are not ho-hum, you are holistically pulchitudinous, because beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. It is who you are and how you come across to someone who perceives, encompasses, and embraces your altitudinous insights into the invariably shape-shifting, labyrinthian, and convoluted cyber electronic space. You observe the signs and signals emanating from the cyber portals, which are indeed interplanetary and intergalactic, to repunch intricacies of the Gordian knot represented by the modern day cyber electronic verse. Do you really realize what that makes you, or even realize what you have become doing what you do best? So, in case you don't realize what that makes you cyber thaumaturgists of the digital metaverse. So, accolades to your fraternity for becoming the cyber thaumaturgists of the digital metaverse. In truth, you are intelligible even though you may not come across as comprehensible to the overtly nascent. Your second sight is second to none. Your cyber electronic clairvoyance conserves and preserves the digital portals which those in time antecedents opened for the fundamental interactions we are having today with the electromagnetic particle race of the macrocosm. You are the constitutional component of the monolithic, ever-expanding military-industrial intelligence defense complex. You actuate and impel the engines of military cyber electronic deterrence for exhaustive planetary defense. Pacifism through deterrence is a doctrine that many from amongst the stodgy ones fail to see. All the while it has never been the eye, but always the mind. Through your operous and grueling attitude, the entity that reverses with light caught up against the one that races against sound. Painful hypersonic at the rate Mach 5 or greater will now be discovered by the arsenal of Lion Sentinels placed in Leo, which is the low Earth orbit. The Space Development Agency of the US Space Force deployed an army of satellites as early warning systems for tracking and thereby targeting advanced missile threats. 100 sentinels in space for now, humanly impossible to analyze the gigantic terabytes of space data collected by sensors. Identifying the clutter and differentiating between the false positives and false negatives. See, the false positives can be ignored, but can you take chances with the false negatives, knowing that what's going to hit you is indeed a nuclear powered hypersonic missile traveling through a fractional orbital bombardment system? This is exactly where EPSI comes in, an advanced AI software that can analyze mammoth amounts of sensor data to positively identify missile targets from the clutter of space junk and objects in the upper atmosphere. It's a 2 years, 1.6 million US dollar small business innovation research phase 2 contract from the SDA announced on the 6th of February 2024 this very year. Its AI-powered intelligence will be put to the test against data accumulated by LEO sensors of the incoming projectiles. Precise, powerful, fast-adapting algorithms to ceaselessly track fast-moving kinetic projectiles over very large space-time complex. No cakewalk indeed. Therefore, Raytheon Technologies, with its incredible expertise and experience and mind-boggling time span in missile defense simulations with rock-solid data analytics, is rising up to the challenge. Rapid transmission and syncing of camera images to communicate across the network of LEO sentinels needs some potent metaphysical quantum mechanics application. APSI specializes in AI for autonomous drones, enhancing combat pilots and warfighters' performance, responding at super speed and teaming up with autonomous weapon systems, unmanned or uncrewed aerial vehicles, and unmanned weapon systems. See, now you cyber electronic wizards have been pulling off near impossible feats. Let me come again. You cyber electronic wizards have been pulling off near impossible feats by fine tuning the algorithms, acting as the driving force for the military, defense, industrial, and intelligence complex that ideally must enforce pacifism through the doctrine of deterrent disincentive, acting as a countermeasure for the adversary. All the while, the NSA, the National Security Agency, has been so right. As we transition way back from analog to digital, therefore, no matter how sophisticated and precocious your complex weapon systems and platforms are, in the form of fifth generation fighter jets to multi purpose battle tanks to corvettes, destroyers, aircraft carriers, and the most recent autonomous weapon systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, unmanned ground vehicles. There's always a powerful operating system running a versatile computer system at the heart of all weapon systems and platforms. Just look at advanced integrated modular battlefield management systems, augmenting soldiers' battlefield operations, improving response times, and reducing cognitive load. NATO truly believes in cognitive superiority for winning conflicts of the future. Complex weapon systems and platforms coordinate attack defenses between geographically disparate forces. The computer operating systems today manage the warfighters across all domains of land, air, sea, and space. Hypersonic missiles, fractional orbital bombardment systems, laser guided systems, autonomous weapon systems, unmanned aerial systems, unmanned ground vehicles, military satellites, anti-kinetic ballistic projectiles countermeasures, and advanced modular battlefield management systems. They all run on military-grade advanced computer operating systems. An improvised cyber attack on such complex systems can crash the software, having disastrous fallout in the form of sidelining a fighter jet or radar system, making an aircraft or a courier or a carrier battle group vulnerable, putting a military satellite offline via a non-kinetic cyber or electromagnetic attack, spoofing jamming satellite signals. This can break coordination between electricity grids, disrupt geolocation services via electronic interference, disrupt time stamping of financial transactions, etc. Potent cyber attack and sabotage database and delete spare engine parts from fighter jets rooster. Lock disable user login from crucial networks. Supply chain attack is indeed an expensive operation. AI driven cyber adversaries can penetrate communication networks in the form of polymorphic malware exploiting vulnerable apps and software, thereby expanding the attack surface. Since these attack tools means are constantly evolving. From the FireEye reports, we can garner that the electronic systems can be spoofed and fooled, Electronic systems that rely on login credentials and additional authentication for verifying critical user identities are indeed big cyber targets. There is something unique about the spirit of the cyber defenders and cyber commandos. Your subspecies is perfectly unequaled in the true sense of the term. It's neuronal and embedded deep inside you. You can cogitate independently. You can alter the plot and militarily produce, define with great zeal the future character of the battlefield. The phenomenal doers, the go-getters, and the brainstormers. Cyber AI dynamism is engraved in your memory muscle. See, your crowning aim has always been to present off the hook, dependable, combat ready potentiality at great velocity and scale to the naturally endowed and highly skilled warfighting machine, to dissuade antagonistic hostility and maintain the position of advantage and control when push comes to shove. Therefore, the cyber electronic space commanders fulfill the roles and duties of the human part in the Sentinel equation, waiting for the arrival of the cyber AGI to transubstantiate into the human brain machine superneural network complex, defending the intergalactic cyber electronic open portals. Now, this 49 pointers. Cyber AI confronts impudent aggressiveness of germinating camaraderie between state-sponsored advanced persistent threats and supposed AI sentinels, mitigating known cyber threat campaigns from yesterday's is one thing, and comprehending and prognosticating hyper-realistic cyber threat complex and the polymorphic strains they indeed take totally another level of AGI sentinel type clairvoyance. Just because you don't see it, you don't feel it, does not mean it doesn't exist. The military alliance and law enforcement cyber commanders of today, they indeed trust the signs, you can call it EWS or early warning systems of primal presentiment. Governments and tech-centric industries will continue working on ordnance driving by the fortified and vehemently reinforced belief that cyber AI is bearing testimony to an inflectional morphology. Inflectional morphology, because if cyber AI is really at an unequivocal CAFO, as most policymakers and infosec think tanks would like to conceive, a lot of deliberation is going on internationally in this domain whether cyber AI is really at an unequivocal CAFO, as most policymakers and infosec think tanks would like to believe. Is it a phenomena which you can call an inflectional morphology? So you see, shifting the variable of equilibrium from offense to defense apparently seems to have preoccupied the brainwaves of international cyber intelligentsia. All the while, vixenish cyber agent provocateurs are busy in administering controlled experimentations with state of art off the peg and also clandestinely developed AI tools and resources. Cyber attackers have always reckoned, calculated, and computed one of a kind, fresh, and improvised usurpation tactic to subvert carefully crafted and supposedly priceless perimeter defenses. The best cyber commandos need to distribute the countermeasures systematically and strategically and consistently to countervail somewhat never experienced before jury-rigged cyber intrusion attempts, dabbling on the horns of a dilemma. We've always believed that artificial intelligence is equal to machine language, which is nothing but statistics at scale. Curtsy, USDOD CDAO. The cyberverse is witnessing incredible evolution of threat detection, malware synthesis, vulnerability sensing, and fixing with cast iron type incident response. Direction of the Global Cyber Defense Initiative has been AI primed, cyber effective, and intelligent infrastructure powered by new research and security training. Agglomerative, but has to be a coherent digital future. You see, the internet was always born to be interplanetary and intergalactic. It's time specific, bound by the cardinal and numerative laws of physics. How does the present, very earthly cyber electronic space intelligence quadruplet envision the cyber electronic space two says incursion from the atomistic multidimensional metaverse, focusing on securing cyber AI through definitive frameworks as a means to incorporate best practices and systems, originating a whole new ecosystem of sorts, and a workable one, of course. So, innovations followed by investments in massive centralized data strong centers without losing the focus on the incredible impact of decentralization. Distributed computing networks complex on raising the bar of cost effectiveness and efficiency of AI, ushering the age of the AGI and human coalesce at singularity. Generative superintelligence designed for, by, and of the Internet. So, generative superintelligence has been designed for, by, and of the Internet, therefore driving pith from its interplanetary and intergalactic nature. At some point, it may have to transcend from the physical into the metaphysical, denying the prospect of innovation to attackers and at the same time providing the incentives to defenders for fortification, remains an intended consequence of what can be termed as a balanced regulatory approach towards AI. On the front of recent developments, the magic of Magica has worked by Google, and it's been working stupendously as the iPod tool, which will be open sourced, aiding in the identification and detection of malware. The umbrella of thaumaturgy already covers essential product lines including Gmail, Google Drive, Chrome Safe Browsing, and the Aristotle team has been applying it to provide a safer cyber ecosystem. It has already upped the customary file identification veracity by up to 30%. Code substantiation. Code substantiation, AI facilitated cyber offensives, cyber defense countermeasures, large language models that recover readily from cyber adversary threats can sum up some of the prominent advancements in the modern day digital domain. Since the year 2020, 72 active artificial general intelligence R&D projects have taken off in 37 countries. The purpose of most advanced AI solutions primarily remains to analyze complex scenarios, to learn, reason, and adapt, to find solutions, ensure coordination and synchronization between the actions of distributed cyber defense entities, emphasizing on workable data driven insights. Complex machine learning, which invariably is statistics at scale, aims to generate novel solutions at some level, predict the potential outcomes through integration of neural skill sets, programming and training the algorithms to overcome conventional thinking patterns. After all, we know that computational science is nothing but nature inspired computational methods. So, can we broadly classify the military artificial intelligence doctrine, principles, guidelines, and conduct of military operations, regularly regulating the use of brute force in conflict zones by clearly defining the rules of engagement to verify and validate, to identify and report both violations and breaches, monitor and adjust plans through real-time situational awareness and feedback. AI implementation strategy involve military applications. They ascertain the adversary capabilities, intentions, motivations, and vulnerabilities. They also review military actions and its political, ethical, and legal repercussions. On the AGI landscape front, generating hypothetical simulations to weigh the potential impact vis-a-vis current global problems and scenario. In the military domain, AGI will also have to monitor and adjust the plans based on real-time situational awareness and feedback with respect to field operations. Nature-inspired computational intelligence is a subset of artificial intelligence, and the swarm intelligence algorithms are biology-inspired. AI also has been rapidly learning from biological immune systems as a part of evolutionary computation. Math models are indeed not enough to comprehend this complex phenomenon. When we combine optimization with multi-objectives, the evolutionary computation takes shape, developing algorithm sets for global optimization. So, when we look at machine learning as the sum of artificial intelligence, which is hard computing techniques, and CI, computational intelligence, which is soft computing techniques, we arrive at something of the aggregation of data to partial truths, such as the fuzzy systems of today. So, understanding natural language is fuzzy indeed. So, mathematically, truth can either be 0 or 1. Assumption of continuum, a continuous non spatial whole or extinct or succession in which no part or portion is distinct or distinguishable from adjacent parts. But artificial intelligence and soft computing has to overcome meta-heuristic or stochastic optimization characters. Algorithmic trials and errors. A well-defined and organized set of rules intended to increase the probability of solving some problems. So, randomness in the metaverse is bliss. Just randomness. Only randomness. Non-predictability of an order or plan is indeed supreme distributed intelligence for all sets of military and intelligence variables. On the perimeter, or even at the gates of invincibility, if one may take the liberty of being non-predictable. So you have just been standing all the while at the perimeter, just at the gates of invincibility in the entire cyber AGI complex. So can AGI, so if AGI supposedly has achieved this character set, so can we presume that AGI will be able to crack the indomitable code of the metaverse? As if God has been playing dice with the universe. Stephen Hawkins. For the time being, stochastic hurdles remain a constraint for all mathematical models. Trying to solve real-life problems in the binary language of bits, zeros, and one. The artificial neural networks have to learn from experiential data in order to operate like a bioentity, an amalgamation of data analysis, classification, associative memory with cluster generation for patterns and control, and finally fault tolerance. All the reasons for learning theories to be close to humans. Probabilistic theory will determine the outcome of a computational intelligence system defined by randomness, just randomness. The more the AI system arranges the values of variables showing their observed or theoretical frequency of occurrence, the better and more efficient will be its predictive algorithms, pure clairvoyance. Statistical, unadulterated clairvoyance. Statistical distribution comes to play as we already know that AI is equal to ML is equal to statistics at scale. So, what is of supreme importance in the metaverse domain for artificial general intelligence? Sentinel, singularity. So, it has to be capable to generate priori abstractive, conjectural, divinatory, hypothetical, metaphysical, notional, speculative, suppositional theories as one of the core elements of distributed intelligence. Most humans have been underplaying this peculiar neuronal gift. We have been underplaying our telekinetic abilities for a very, very long time. Supreme sentient singularity will mean abstract, coherent thinking, noesis, representation, provision, erudition, natural language processing, perception, solving discretional problems, germination into an incredulous entity, empiricism of utmost potentiality, powerful analytics and projection capability, multifactorial sensing capabilities. All engraved, embedded into the human brain AGI neural network complex. The global brain hypothesis interconnected AGI, I mean, when all the multimodal LLMs are interconnected with the human brain, so it can propel to electromagnetic telekinesis superordinate prowess, evolving to quantum AGI. On the futurism, the impact comes through clairvoyance, predictive analysis, and quantum extrapolation. It will cause projections for the environment through applied systems analysis and technological foresight. The role of human OSINT activity will evolve into machine-based multiple generative AI LLMs. This will elevate and augment simulations for real-world operational scenarios. The military intelligence defense industrial complex will use a combination of augmentative GIDE, a global information dominance experiment, with joint all-domain command and control through joint data integration applied into the joint force command centers. Simply put, superiority for defense-grade strategic and tactical decision-making. Operationally, AGI can function in the cyberkinetic verse. Now let us map this textually. Training quality data must be free from biases. A. B. Deal with skewed and inaccurate predictions. C. Black box problems of transparency, trust, and accountability. D. What are the privacy concerns with precognitive AI? E. Ethical concerns for manipulation and misuse. F. Human AGI collaboration, augment human capabilities, enhance learning and communication, and facilitate problem solving. G. Detect anomalies in cyberspace, pattern recognition, unusual patterns, deviations, flag potential threats, recognize, identify emerging trends, simulate planned scenarios, proactive threat modeling, analyze potential outcomes. H. Threat intelligence, process massive data from various sources, identify emerging cyber threats and vulnerabilities, proactively predict attacks and resources. I. Automated response, trigger countermeasures when cyber attack detected, isolate infected systems, block malicious traffic. Rapid response minimizes attacks imprint so that we have more time for human intervention. Simulate cyber attacks, red teams, sophistication, vulnerabilities in networks and systems, patch weak spots to prevent exploitation by attackers. Stress testing K. Generate massive volumes of cyber attack traffic, immense pressure on security infrastructure to reveal bottlenecks and potential points of failure in order to withstand real world attacks. L. Evolving threats adapt to the attack methods, mimic ever changing tactics, alert defenders, and keep the cyber defenses relevant always. The uh, the machine-based artificial intelligence cybersecurity system relies on human-defined objectives. because predictions affect decisions and recommendations influence real and virtual environments. AI-based cyber defense system proactively detects vulnerabilities and mitigates threats. The model and integrity of an AI-based cyber defense system can be denoted by three R's, which represent robustness, response, and resilience. Robustness will denote a stable configuration that withstands error inputs. The system software is self-testing and healing. Self-healing, self-testing, achieving true immutability, immutable software, immutable operating systems. The AI systems improve testing through factors like robustness, delegation, verification, and validation. It strengthens the system's resilience to resist and tolerate cyber attacks. Any optimum AI cybersecurity system is classified into threes: 34% prediction, 51% detection, and 18% response. The polymorphic nature of these trains means that the incredible speed of impact is under 4 minutes. Measuring the operational complexity establishes the fact that cloud computing today needs analytics-driven capabilities. Solutions need quick operationalization in the milliseconds range. Human AI interactions, actions, and response means to augment the role of human security analysts. What quantum of decisions need to be delegated to the AI matrix? Cyber defense commanders and the generals at the top will have to take a call in the future, the near future. Neural networks as a subset of deep learning and hierarchical approach, an ML that constantly changes the program as it learns problem solving. Such networks can be progressively developed and reinforced with each example. The bigger the neural network, the greater the number of examples it needs to perform well, sometimes needing millions and billions of examples in case of deep learning. Artificially intelligent programs have found mainstream applications in today's cyberverse. An intelligent, dynamic, multidimensional security approach relies on behavioral biometrics analytics. AI-powered complex algorithms provide insights, generate forecasts, predict future scenarios, and analyze human behavior. It refines risk assessment and data intelligence. For government and military, it enables robust insider threat detection. The efficient systems extract information from bulk data sets. It fosters active user authentication and mechanically identifies advanced persistent threats compromises, thereby protecting the centralized data vaults, thwarting cyber aggression. The machine learning based system sends fast critical updates to protect and prevent and contain surprises of exploits. The artificial intelligence zero trust network access system, it's smart cyber automation. That is what we've been seeing everywhere. So it's all about alarm and responses, react in real time by monitoring and identifying breaches. Intelligent behavioral analytics identify patterns and erratic actions by combining user data, location, and user behavior. So there's a deep structured or hierarchical learning, which is deep learning. Deep structured or hierarchical learning, also known as deep learning. So this method employs machine learning with specific kinds of neural networks. The learning is either unsupervised, semi-supervised, or supervised. The structures have one intermediate layer between input and output. It can modify and optimize code. The statistical machine can interconnect millions of transformations. The system learns through trials and errors and from examples and outcomes. The process draws inferences and patterns from human inputs that serve as explicit instructions. Now, point 47, we'll be simulating cyber AGI as an antagonist and adversary for the sake of it. And for the sake of brevity, we'll call it a distributed surveillance Orwellian AGI. distributed surveillance, Orwellian artificial general intelligence, or weaponized AI. Now, what are cyber AI intelligent attacks? We begin with some relevant quotes by Charles D. Rubin. Uh, he said that any sufficiently advanced benevolence may be indistinguishable from malevolence. Any sufficiently advanced benevolence may be indistinguishable from malevolence. Nick Bostrom. He said almost any goals that a sufficiently intelligent AI may have, it is instrumentally incentivized to protect itself from being shut down and to acquire more resources as intermediary steps to better achieve these goals. So Nick Bostrom said that almost any goals that a sufficiently intelligent AI may have, it is instrumentally incentivized to protect itself from being shut down and to acquire more resources as intermediary steps to better achieve these goals. So does super AI really have to be genuinely aligned with humanity's morality? Stephen Hawkins, 2014, Salin Jones, Spell the End of Human Race. The advent of superintelligent AI would be either the best or the worst thing ever to happen to humanity. The real risk with AI isn't malice, but competence. Superintelligent AI will be extremely good at accomplishing its goals, and if those goals aren't aligned with ours, we are in trouble. You are probably not an evil ant hater who steps on ants out of malice. But if you are in charge of an hydroelectric green energy project and there's an anthill in the region to be flooded, too bad for the ants. Let's not place humanity in the position of the ants. Stephen Hawkins. So will intelligent machines by default treat us favorably? See, when malware is boosted and supercharged with AI, it doesn't. Because it infects systems faster, becomes harder to detect, targets more victims, launches convincing phishing attacks, evolves more polymorphic strains. Okay, so malware doesn't treat us favorably when boosted with AI because it's been infecting systems faster, it has become harder to detect. It has been targeting more victims and has been launching convincing phishing attacks, evolving more polymorphic strains. Now, from the digital warfare to lethal autonomous weapon systems to toxic molecules, all within the capability of superintelligent generative cyber AGI. For surveillance and reconnaissance, it deploys improvised undetectable spyware, uses biometrics, face fingerprints, voice recognition technology, and machine learning to classify threats. Weaponized AI on the cyber attack surface. Let's expand the cyber attack surface vis-a-vis a weaponized artificial intelligence. It's constantly evolving. Advanced AI tools develop hybrid cyber attack patterns, malware in multiforms. The expanded attack surface affects the hybrid work, cloud access, and bring your own device systems. Bring your own device organizations which follow this policy, so thereby making all devices vulnerable, infiltrating critical systems and machines. Schedule the execution of programmable cyber attacks at a future date from malicious code hidden inside the app. The advanced persistent threat infiltrating computer systems by deploying data obfuscation technology, malware hidden in images can be more advanced than 1,000 lines of code. Now, what are the prominent challenges? Moving on to point number 48. What are the prominent challenges posed by artificial intelligence? Draconian, absolutely sinister and evil artificial intelligence in order to be adopted. We are just simulating, okay? So, in order to be adopted in the security of nuclear and radiological facilities. No. So, here we're talking about not the evil AI, but the deficient AI. Why is it deficient? So we're not talking about We are not simulating AI as an evil entity. We are simulating AI here. What are its deficiencies? What can possibly go wrong? Precisely why IAEA is not in favor of losing human controls to the AGI. So, what is stopping the implementation of this fascinating technology into the security of a nuclear and radiological facility? It boils down to the fact that how has the AI system been trained? The intelligence of an artificial intelligence system depends on the quality and type of training data it is working with. The data can be spoofed and falsified to produce incorrect readings and outcomes. Inputs can be altered for viperous purposes. This is indeed a fundamental roadblock for its deployment in nuclear security. Will it replace a human nuclear security operator? A human nuclear security operator seems not workable and viable at the moment based on many studies. Human input is essential for physical protection, material accounting, control, and direct measurements. Would be great if we can see simulations in the metaverse where the control of the security of a nuclear and radiological facility has been transferred from a human nuclear security operator to an AGI sentinel and see what happens, what it does, how it behaves, how it reacts and responds to possibility of a threat or cyber attack. So again, simulation. Comprehending a specific conclusion, determination, prognostication, and forecasting by an AI model with regard to nuclear security are the most evidentiary problems with AI models. The mechanics and semantics behind the particular conclusion is what makes humans suspicious of artificial intelligence having credible trust issues on AI models. The LLMs can large, now this is again a very big physical problem. Can large artificial intelligence models ever replace or compensate for physical sensors that measure important mathematical constants and variables with regard to a nuclear and radiological facility? Can large AI models compensate for human experience gained with the unique characteristics of each nuclear facility over long time periods? So you see, at the present times, it apparently seems Laputin to have any direct or indirect confidence in an AI system's integrity. What is required is interior detailed and advanced understanding of the algorithms to have identifiable insights into an AI system's decision ecosystem domain. A clear distinction between the best patterns on human checks and balances to maneuver a nuclear plant's awareness of which processes. So, a clear distinction between the best patterns on human checks and balances to maneuver nuclear plants' awareness of which processes require AI automation and which need human regulatory inadvertence till the time most risks of this speedily changing technology are known. So that's the conclusion. A clear distinction has to be made between the best patterns on human checks and balances to maneuver nuclear plants' awareness of which processes require AI automation and which need human regulatory inadvertence till the time most risks of this speedily changing technology are known. The 49 pointer, the last, which we'll be seeing the salient features of an advanced. The salient features of an advanced, modular, highly portable battlefield management system. Now it has to be next generation GCS or ground control solution, command and control capabilities. Has to be adaptive to multiple mission scenarios, provide advanced situational awareness to improve mission effectiveness, revolutionize, train, plan, and execute military missions in ever changing complex military environments. Support for unmanned or uncrewed aerial systems, unmanned aerial vehicles, unmanned ground vehicles, autonomous weapon systems, tactile missile systems, high altitude pseudo military satellites, distributed decentralized mesh networking, support for all these technologies, integration with all these technologies. Battlefield scenarios indeed are complex and adversaries quite capable, so today's warfighters deal with an array of complex systems from UAVs, UGVs, ground and air robots. So ABMS provides windows to all those systems. So because it is next generation ground control solution, command and control has command and control capabilities. So therefore it is adaptive to multiple mission scenarios. It provides advanced situational awareness to improve mission effectiveness, and it revolutionizes, trains, plans and executes military missions in ever-changing complex military environments. Simplific so the battlefield scenarios, they are complex. The adversaries are quite capable. So today's warfighters deal with an array of complex systems from UAVs, UGVs, ground and air robots. ABMS provides windows to all those systems. Simplification of the interface for interaction. The interaction between the operator and the ABMS. So the simplification of the interface for interaction between the warfighters and the complex battlefield systems. Because the ABMS handles robotics, analytics. So it handles robotics, analytics, sensors, and connectivity for multi-domain modules. Warfighters who remain the ultimate battle assets, therefore reduce cognitive load. Because the warfighters are the ultimate battle assets, so to reduce cognitive load on the operators so that they can focus on the mission at hand. Integration and interoperability amongst battle assets, scalable and adaptable way to integrate critical battlefield systems, thereby mechanically boosting situational awareness. Mechanically boosting situational awareness. ABMS should be simple, adaptable, integrated, interoperable, scalable, and modular solution. It should be able to run on platforms, laptop and desktop platforms like Windows, AOSP, Android open source project, open source Linux, thereby replacing legacy ground control systems. So because it runs on Windows, Androids, Linux, it replaces legacy GCS. So GCS, and this very GCS has cross-platform software library. So larger control systems like command and control systems can interoperate programmatically. So it connects with the command and control GCS control systems, which are larger, complex, programmatically. So the design recommendations and data points, they include the ecosystem, the ergonomics, user experiences, and physical controls. It has a dedicated hardware solution because you see, it does not have a dedicated hardware solution. It is a software solution, a programmatically integrated, interoperable solution. Okay, very versatile. So that is why, because a dedicated hardware solution, it faces integration difficulties. So the modular software solutions, it can integrate into any configuration like a pocket DDL radio and smartphone to provide automated functionality, mission planning, and diagnostics. Legacy GCS is a dedicated hardware solution, and modern ABMS are software-based modular cross-platform solutions. So the fundamental difference between a legacy ground control system is and the modern advanced battlefield management system is that the former is a dedicated hardware solution and the later is a software-based modular cross-platform solution. It simplifies training solutions you can learn on a smartphone, tablet, laptop, or desktop. User experience remains identical. It must be capable of running side by side with the Android ATAC, Advanced Technical Awareness Kit platforms, uh, because it has an open architecture. Remote Connection Manager must be industry standard. What you can do interactively with the ground control system, you can also do programmatically with the system. Okay, so it must be compatible with industry interfaces like SatNav and Starlink. And cursor on target is used on ATAC solutions. So ATAC is equal to full mission capability at fingertips, which means software, hardware, antennas, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, working with UAVs, UGVs, and AWS. So it should also be capable, since we are discussing the salient features, so it should also universally be capable of establishing forward observation posts, perform persistent intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and acquire and prosecute targets, have futuristic user experience and wide variety of user cases. So at the battlefield front, it offers collaboration with military assets, functions like a mobile unit command center, changing the dynamics for war theater commanders, and the functional communication range for any ground control solution. So the functional communication range for any ground control systems and a modern day advanced battlefield management system must be anything from between 5 kilometers to 30 kilometers.